Think about how often you've been trained to say no. What if you trained yourself to say yes? Your life would change. Yes is a different physiology than, I'm not sure, I don't know, let me think about it. Think of something where you feel explosively excited. Did your body move up or down? Up. Did you extend or collapse? See, people come to me all the time and they go, hey, I just feel so down all the time. Why do you think I feel so down? Or someone says, I'm so excited. Why do you think I'm so happy, right? Literally, the way you move is the first pattern. Everything's patterns. Every problem on earth that man has created, man can solve. We've proven it over and over again. People get fearful and scared and they live in the fear, and then the doers, they go find the solutions. And those solutions people, those yes people, have a wholly different state. I want you to jot down the 3 skills you want to master in your life or pass on to your children or grandchildren. Skill number 1, pattern recognition. When you can recognize patterns, you will not be stressed because you're going to understand what's really going on. You're going to understand that things happen in patterns. And you'll recognize the pattern, and when you know what the pattern is, you'll have the second skill, pattern utilization. Once you can recognize a pattern, it's not chaos anymore. Once you can use that pattern, you can succeed. I'll give you an example. Think of anyone that you think is masterful at anything. A writer, a director, an actress, a singer, a great scientist, a great financial trader, a great businessman or woman. What makes them great is they know everything is patterns. If you just run with your emotions, you're going to be screwed. So we got to get ourselves to this weekend recognize patterns. There's some patterns in you that don't serve you. How many got some shit you don't like that happens within you here? Make some noise if it's true. How many have lots of good things you do like in your life today? Say aye. So we want to find the ones that we don't like and move them out. They're just patterns. You're not angry all the time, but you might get angry when you get, quote, triggered. Triggered is the stupidest effing word I've ever seen because it makes you a total victim. You're not triggered. You just have a habit. You have a habit of responding to people who use that tone of voice, who use those words, who use that story. And if you spend your whole world trying to get other people not to trigger you, good luck. You'll always find a way to get triggered. Much better is rewire yourself. Rewire the pattern and give yourself freedom. That's the game that we're going to play here. This is not a game of just sitting around and going, oh, but this was done to me. It doesn't matter what was done. What matters is what are you going to do with it, right? And then the third skill is you become a creator of patterns. And then you're masterful. Then you're the best in your business. Then you can do things no one else does because you're not limited to what everybody else does. You create a new way. That's what the greatest business people do. That's what the greatest musicians do. The dancer, the Michael Jackson of the world, he knew every movement. He knew exactly what it would do to you. A great musician knows which upbeats, downbeats are going to produce what emotions. Great director knows if I come in close or far away, fast or slow, how to change your emotions. They know exactly the patterns, and that's why they're the best on earth. And all of us have patterns, but some of us aren't aware of them. Some are good, some are not so good. By the way, science now says about 60% of what we do is habitual, roughly. That means we've done it over and over again. We keep doing it. That's why our life doesn't change. What's great about a habit? A pattern. You don't have to think. What's bad about it? You don't think. Some areas are good not to think. You've automated. Let's put it aside. Some places we might want to bring it up and change it. So there's a habit you don't like, let's shift it. And by the way, there's not just patterns in your emotions. See, our beliefs control everything because beliefs are just patterns too. They're habitual things you've told yourself so often now you feel certain they're true. How many of you had beliefs sometime in the last 10 years, a belief that you would have fought for, that today you're almost embarrassed you believe that shit? How many have a belief like that somewhere in your life here? Say aye. How many have some beliefs that intellectually you know better, but emotionally they stop you at times? Who can relate to this here? Say aye. But it's all patterns. And when you realize it's patterns, it's nothing wrong with you. There's no one in this room that's broken. There's no one that needs to be fixed, and I'm not your guru to come do it for you. All you need is to change a few patterns. And once I show you what they are, you'll do it. Patterns can be changed. If you make it yourself, it's hard to change you. It's easy to change a pattern. You don't need to change you. What you're calling you is probably a pattern. You are more than your patterns. You are more than anything you've said or done in the past. Who's ever done something so stupid, so terrible, so whatever, you hope no one will ever know? Raise your hand, make some noise if that's true. Yeah, but if you don't raise your hand, you lie about other shit too, don't you? Come on. So the bottom line, we've all done dumb things because people do the best they can based on the state they're in. Smart people can act dumb when they're in a dumb state. Do you ever forget your own home telephone number or how to spell a difficult word like the? And then you get it a few seconds later because you're in a different state. So pattern states we're going to look at. But I also want you to know there's larger patterns, especially those of you that are fearful about the world right now. So think about this. Our ancestors went from hunter-gatherers who are barely surviving to thriving on the planet when they recognized one pattern. The pattern of the seasons. See, up until that time, we couldn't plant because you could plant and it didn't work. In fact, it didn't work 3 out of 4 seasons. But one time, somebody figured out, wow, if I plant in the spring, I protect in the summer, I can reap in the fall, save some of that for winter, then we don't have to wander the earth looking for new. We could stay in a place and build communities and cities and countries. That one pattern of the seasons changed humanity. Just being able to recognize the pattern and then what? Use it. So from 0 to 21, that's a time of creation. That's when maybe you're protected. Not all of us were. Some of you had tough childhoods. I did too. But most people have a certain amount of protection. Someone's looking out for you, you wouldn't have survived. And you grow and you're taught, you learn, but the learning is someone teaching you how to think and be. But once you get somewhere between 18, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in that range, you start to leave that little spring and you enter the summer. And the summertime, basically 22 to 42, roughly. Some people start earlier, some start later. That's where you go out and test everything you were taught. You go, you know what? They all told me it's bullshit. I think I can do this. And by the way, in this early stage of summer, you're invincible because you know you're going to become the prime minister, you're going to become a multi-billionaire, you're going to have 5,000 relationships, you're going to have the greatest life ever humanly known, and then you have your first relationship and go, holy shit, this is what this is about? And you discover maybe you're not quite as invincible as you think you are. So this summer, by the way, when you hit the summer, you're the soldier of society. You're going to work, you're learning and growing, you're testing your own values, you're getting into relationships for the first time, maybe starting to have kids. The next season is 43 to 63. That's the fall, that's a reaping time. If you planted during the spring and learned, and you kept growing in the summer and didn't give up, then in the fall, you're gonna reap. But if you didn't work hard in the spring and summer, you're gonna weep in the fall. It's gonna be tough. But this is a time when most people hit their power, 43 to 63. Does that make sense? That's when you're power. And then 64 to 84, or maybe 104 or 120. The oldest living humans are 120. And that's when you become really the person who mentors people. You're the storyteller, you're the leader, you have so many life experiences, you can really be a gift to people's lives. And you're not trying to prove yourself anymore, because by that stage, if you don't know who the hell you are, you're screwed. The place of the most unhappiness, according to studies, is 22 to 42, by the way. So if you're in there and you're not happy, you can change that, but it's not new. It's when you're trying to figure out who you are, still prove yourself. If you develop really well during spring and summer, fall, you'll know who you are. And by winter, you'll be crushing it and having a good time, and you won't be trying to prove anything. You'll just be serving, and that'll give you great joy.